Hello, everybody. It's Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Today is Monday, the 23rd of August, 2021. To get future episodes, click on the subscribe button below in the lower right and also the notification bell in the upper right. Today's topic is going to be a comparison of leadership, the Confederacy at Gettysburg, which was a major defeat, versus President Joe Biden and his team here with the Afghanistan debacle. So let me pull up my notes here and we'll just get started. General Robert E. Lee took full responsibility for his Confederate Army's biggest defeat at the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863. He made no attempt to blame subordinates or civilian leaders. As a result, he minimized dissension, thereby encouraging the people of the South to continue their support for the Army of Northern Virginia and its commander. Although eventually forced to surrender in April 1865, he would go on to thrash Union Lieutenant General Ulysses Grant when the war's two most famous opposing commanders first met at the Battle of the Wilderness in May of 1864. By comparison, President Joe Biden, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Army General Mark Milley have all tried to deflect blame for the present Afghanistan debacle onto former President Donald Trump, for one. They charged Trump with negotiating an agreement last year requiring NATO troops to be out of Afghanistan this past May 1st, a few months ago. In truth, however, Trump's agreement was contingent upon several factors. Among them was a requirement that the Taliban prevent al-Qaeda and other groups, quote, from using Afghan soil to recruit, train, or fundraise toward activities that threaten the United States or its allies, close quote. Now, on March 25th of this year, when Biden was in president, General Richard Clark testified before the Senate Armed Services Committee, quote, "It is clear that the Taliban have not upheld what they said they would do," close quote. Now, during a press conference that same day, President Biden stated, quote, "If," and I will repeat, "if we leave Afghanistan, we're going to do so in a safe and orderly way," close quote. Thus, Biden could have delayed the withdrawal due to the Taliban's non-compliance, or alternatively replace the agreement with one of his own, as he did with many Trump executive orders. Nonetheless, Biden decided to start removing troops on May 1st, promising to complete the job by the politically advantageous 20th anniversary of 9/11 next month. Now, once the debacle became obvious, Biden and his underlings also blamed the Afghan war veterans, to the dismay of many American soldiers who felt indebted to the Afghans who had bravely fought alongside them during the past 20-year war. Given numerous testimonies or instances of such relationships, Biden felt compelled to backtrack by also promising to get Afghan allies out of the country after initially disparaging them. The conflicting narratives of Afghan veterans as cowards or heroes suggests that the public is not getting the full truth. By contrast, Robert E. Lee's Gettysburg Battle Report, which he sent to President Jefferson Davis after he got his army safely returned to Virginia from Pennsylvania, praised the conduct of his soldiers, but offered his personal resignation. Davis declined to accept that resignation. Although Lee's selfless conduct is consistent with his reputation as a gentleman or a senior military commander, It should be noted that he could have offered excuses like Biden's. For example, Lee urged that General P.G.T. Beauregard form a new army at Richmond to be organized from the city's garrison and soldiers from the Carolinas, including Bory's army from Charleston. Even if merely, quote, an army in effigy, close quote, as he proposed to President Davis, it would force the Union commander, whose army was shrinking through enlistment term expirations during this period. It would force that Union army to face an enemy on two fronts, one in Pennsylvania, Lee, and one in Richmond, Beauregard, to the south. That would minimize the number of Union soldiers available to confront Lee in Pennsylvania, maybe have changed the outcome of the war or the outcome of the battle. Now, Lee demonstrated similar unselfishness after the war when federal prosecutors questioned him before a grand jury convened to consider a treason case against Jefferson Davis. No doubt Lee realized that if Davis were to be convicted of treason, that he was also vulnerable to the same charge. Prosecutors asked leading questions that would enable Lee to avoid responsibility for his actions through an excuse of taking his orders from Davis as the Confederacy's commander-in-chief. But Lee did not take the bait. He took the onus for his actions entirely on himself, claiming, quote, "I am responsible for what I did, and I cannot now recall any important movement I made, which I would not have made had I acted entirely on my own responsibility," close quote. Now that was in November of 1867, about 2.5 years after the war had ended. To make a statement like that, when he did not know he might that he might be convicted of treason, that's courage. That's courage. And I think that's an example that Davis and his followers, or excuse me, and I think that's an example that Biden and his underlings and his political party and his followers should consider, because I haven't seen that kind of courage from Biden. I've seen bob and weave. I've seen duck responsibility, avoid responsibility, blame everybody else. I mean, he's almost as bad as Hillary. Well, nonetheless, what I would like to do, if you want to learn more about the Reconstruction period, I recommend that you get my recent book called U.S. Grant's Failed Presidency. And what this does is it looks at Reconstruction from the point of view of President Grant, who has been, I think, wrongly credited with being a civil rights pioneer. The only civil rights he cared about were the Black civil rights, and mostly about their voting rights, because when he was elected president in 1868, he got a minority of the white vote, of America's white vote, notwithstanding that 3 southern states could not vote at all, even though the rest of the southern states that had the ex-Confederate vote, much of it disfranchised. He wanted the Black vote in order to have the presidency, and he and the Republican Party gradually backed away from them as they discovered they didn't need them anymore. But that's what I'm recommending. If you'd like to get a copy of that, you can get it for $22 at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and other fine bookstores. If you'd like an autographed copy, you can get it from me. Just email me, Phil, P-H-I-L _Lee, L-E-I-G-H at me.com. Okay, well, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching.